This is one of those days I'm gonna film outside. It is extremely beautiful out here. When it comes to the origins of the Scream character, there's not so much detail in the creation. It's actually more or less exactly how it sounds, you know, a scream. Me being an introvert, I tend to naturally bottle up emotions to the point to where I just pop. Being an artist, I like to capitalize on my emotions. That was my way of discovering who I am as a person and putting a name to it to help me identify with what I'm going through or this certain time period in my life. I can say I was battling depression and anxiety. A lot of it was just internal. It wasn't so much based on what I was going through on the outside world, even though at that time I had just experienced death for the first time. It was more about my internal struggles. I tend to be a perfectionist and I overthink, and if it's not perfect, I'm at war, you know, inside my head. So like I said on the Hook character development video, Hook and Scream were both created by Raiden, and they were both supposed to be weapons used towards going at ANTiX. When Scream was put inside a Hook in order to save his life, basically what ANTiX was putting inside of the Hook was the entity of expression. And that's what Scream is. It's pure expression. It's raw expression. It was the final outburst. Scream was the end of rules. It was the end of stress and pressure and all this stuff. It was the result of bottling everything that life has thrown, all of my emotions being bottled in. It was to the point where that cap had to bust. Now, when Scream and Hook fused together, that formed, as far as like a physical look, back then was the werewolf. That's what Scream looked like. It was the ugly side. I think it's healthy to show that ugly side. It was the pain side. It was the emotional side, the vulnerable side. You know what I'm saying? The ugly truth. Every time I created these characters, I used them as a means to go about certain situations in life. Like if I was under certain circumstances, I would be like, well, what would this character do? What did I build this for? You know what I'm saying? They were tools. They became emotional tools to help me get through certain areas of life. I remember the first time I had an anxiety attack. I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? I just knew that I was feeling something that I've never felt before. It was 2014. My wife was pregnant with our firstborn child now. And we were going through a lot, you know what I'm saying? Of course, being pregnant has its own set of stresses, but we had also got broken into. We lost a lot of material stuff. We lost our sense of security. We lost the home that we lived in. We lost our jobs, all while being pregnant. So now we're going through this financial stuff. I'm the type to where it's like I don't have time to just sit and dwell on it. We got to figure out the next move. Keeping all this stuff bottled in one by one. I just had a lot going on in life and in Krump. It got to a point where when we had family gatherings, I would feel like this shortage of breath, and every little thing bothered me, like to the point to where a fork scraped from eating, you know what I'm saying? Or if somebody was laughing way in a distant background, like all these microscopic sounds became these huge, overwhelming, monstrous, just drumming at my ears. I remember being conscious of wondering why am I stressing over this? Why do I feel so bothered, you know what I'm saying, by normal things, stuff that I would never feel bothered by, you know what I'm saying, stuff that I would actually enjoy, wouldn't mind, you know what I mean? Like, I'm around people that I know and love, you know what I mean? So I didn't understand that. This happened at least 2 or 3 more times. I felt it again, and I ended up having to rush to the bathroom, and I just remember bawling out, crying, like, for no reason to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I started laughing uncontrollably, hysterically, for minutes upon minutes, and I did not understand why. I remember laughing, like, why am I laughing? Like, I felt crazy. I really felt crazy for the first time, and that really bothered me. So I ended up going to the doctor, and he was like, this basically sounds like a panic attack. He asked me what was going on. I told him everything that has been going on that year, and he was like, what do you like to do? I said, I dance. He said, do you dance for yourself? And I had to think about it, like, wait, all the dancing I've been doing has served a purpose for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it was teaching, training, the gigs that I had, the battles for other people's sessions or events and stuff like that. This is all stuff that I found normal and didn't have a problem with. But when he asked me that, it made me realize that I hadn't been self-expressing. I hadn't realized that everything that I was going through, all the stuff that I saw as me just pushing through, me just hustling, me just finding a way, you know what I'm saying, to make things work, that I forgot to scream. I forgot to express myself. I forgot to include that aspect in my life. And it got to a point to where Scream came out on its own. I named these characters for a reason, and I put in quotes characters because they, like I said, these are tools for me. These help me identify and understand a point in my life to where I'm at, and help me use which tool to build here, what item I need to use to get through this part, you know what I mean? So that has been my ultimate benefit from the first time I was kind of going through my mental recovery and coming out of a depression. I really had to practice getting out of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, now that I've identified it, what's my next step? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't entertain this negativity. I can't entertain these negative thoughts, because my whole ambition in life is about growth and, you know what I'm saying, getting past where I was yesterday. The original look to Scream was scary because that's how it felt. I had no idea what was going on. It was very dark. And now something as peaceful as this could be my Scream. It's just raw expression and the conviction in everything that you do, the belief, the breath, you know what I mean? Like, Scream was dark, and now it's turned into something beautiful. People who tend to struggle with the mental and getting through certain aspects of life, and stress and depression and anxiety, being a perfectionist, these are negative things. I definitely encourage people to not settle with negativity. Have an outlet. Find out how to work through depression, but first you gotta realize that you're in this negative state of mind. You have to realize that you're entertaining these negative thoughts. It starts with vulnerability. It starts with awareness. You can't be a narcissist, you know what I mean? You can't look at yourself and think that you're perfect already. You have to be willing to change and to get through what you're going through. There's so many likes we want to get on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We tend to forget who we are and what we stand for. As much as we want to entertain and grow our audience and go viral and reach different platforms and create different platforms and stuff like that, you always have to remember to express yourself. I encourage you all to create your own Scream. A lot of times people are depressed because they're simply confused and don't know what to do next, especially when life hits. Life just hit me and my family again, and it's gonna continue to hit. I gotta figure out what's the best way to respond? And right now I gotta scream.